everybody should be able to go out and eat. So if you're eating healthy and clean, I think you should have options too, and not be like, wow, you guys look like you're having fun, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what, and I chose a salad, but I like them, and it was amazing. It wasn't that, oh man, I have to go eat salad again. Yeah, no, it was beautiful. It was filling. Like, I was stuffed by the time we were done. I also did have a glass of wine, which was amazing.
Do you have red wine?
Yes.
Yeah, I love red wine.
I'm a
that's
Merlot
really good.
girl.
Are you?
Yes, and it was delicious.
So not only do you have the restaurant, and I'm still saving the speakeasy for last because this is going to be really cool.
So cool.
But I still want to talk about your cooking staff and some of the competitions you are involved with. So it's not just, she doesn't just do the Italian food thing here. You guys actually travel and enter competitions for pizza.
Well, okay, so even though like Stromboli is my, what I grew up with, and I love Stromboli, pizza has always been my passion. And I'll just go off on a little bit of a tangent. Think about like your favorite restaurant, and maybe like think about a steak restaurant growing up. Does it like make you feel like, wow? I mean, think about it.
Oh yeah.
It's a great steak. You'd be like, damn, that was a good steak, right? But think about your favorite pizzeria growing up. And when you walk in the door and that smell, there's like that unforgettable smell, whether it's Chicago.
Olive oil and cheese.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And the memories you feel when you think about that place. Like I remember my favorite pizzeria, Scardino's Pizzeria, and he's a big Italian guy, and thick accent. And we'd walk in, he'd be like, hey, Margot, talk to my mom. And he'd wink at me. And it was so magical. He'd like slap out this dough, 1, 2, 3, up in the air. And then it was just a pie, and the sauce and the cheese. And I would just be like, I want to do that one day. Like, I want to do that,
The following podcast is brought to you by Cast Content Media.
Welcome to Dixie
And the King. I'm an Elvis tribute artist, rocking the cradle with a much younger wife.
and we are coming together to figure out this thing called life.
Take this journey with us through our unique and fascinating relationship as we tackle marriage, parenting, and spirituality.
We find ways to live a better life through our experiences and learn from professionals and everyday folks along the way, and how to thrive in today's world.
And welcome back to another edition of Dixie and the King. My name is George Gray, and of course my beautiful wife Dixie alongside. You're probably noticing a little bit different background. Well, that's because we're at a location that has turned out to be one of our favorite places to go. And before we tell you where that is, Dixie's going to tell you how you can find our podcast.
Yeah, so this background is real. Actual bathtub behind us.
Our other background's real too.
Yes.
But where can they find our podcast?
So you can find us on YouTube and Rumble, on our website, dixieandtheking.com, and on all your favorite podcast platforms. So if you don't have time to pull up YouTube and watch this, you can always listen to us while you're driving in your car, cleaning your house.
Alexa.
Whatever you're doing, yeah.
Apple, TuneIn, and the company that helps us with this, Cast Content Media, actually has, and you can find out more information by going to castcontentmedia.com, but they actually have their own radio station.
Oh, wow.
Cast Content Media Radio. And so you're going to be able to hear all of our wonderful podcasts and podcasters, as we are getting quite a few that are interested in being part of the podcast community. As everybody knows, it's the wave of the future because you cannot get censored. Not that we ever have anything that would force us to get censored by anybody, but maybe
Not
it's something.
yet.
Well, we will do one of those podcasts that won't get censored. Anyway, getting back to why we're here, we're so excited. As everybody knows, Northern Colorado has a lot of wonderful places to eat. We live about 50 miles north of Denver. A lot of wonderful mom and pop restaurants up there. But there's one kind of in between where we live and Denver in Fort Lupton, and it is called Wholly Stromboli. Now, this place is very unique because it's a little slice of back east. And while we are talking about Wholly Stromboli, let's go ahead and introduce our very good friend, Melissa Rickman. She is the owner-operator of Wholly Stromboli. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for coming down here.
Oh, this is so wonderful.
Love this place.
Yeah.
It's just got such a cool atmosphere, and the food is always amazing.
It is amazing.
And the presentation is beautiful, always. Like, you're not just going to get a plate with food thrown on it.
No, oh no, no.
So before we get too far into Wholly Stromboli, because that's really why you're here, is to promote the restaurant plus the speakeasy at Wholly Stromboli. Give us a little background on Melissa. What's your story?
My story?
She's got a great story.
Oh, I love to tell it, right? So I'm from the East Coast. I'm from New Jersey originally, and I got transplanted to California where there was no real good Italian to speak of. No offense to Californians, but it's true. I'm sorry. And then moved here to Colorado. But really, when I was a kid, my mom always made stromboli. It was kind of her thing, you know. Mm-hmm. And I used to tell her, you should make stromboli and sell them. And she was like, no one's going to buy stromboli. It's just something I do for us and for our family. But I was just really fascinated with it. You know, and every chance I had the opportunity, I would make stromboli for my friends. I made all of them fat. Not that my food makes you fat. That's not true. But it's low fat. Like, yeah, we take out all the fat in the back, actually. But, and really just when I was in my 20s, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And I could envision what Wholly Stromboli would be like and would be like to feed my guests and, you know, do what I do. And so I'm I think, one of the blessed people who get to live their passion every day. So that's where we're at.
So how did the name Wholly Stromboli come about?
That's a funny story. I guess I was about 21. I was pregnant with my son, and I was working at a collection agency, and the girl across from me in the cubicle was like, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I was like, I want to open a restaurant. This is what it would be like. Mm-hmm. And she goes, well, what would you call it? And I was like, Wholly Stromboli. And she goes, what? How did you just pick that out? And I said, yeah, it just came to me. And it just kind of stuck.
Wow.
That's amazing. So at 21 years old, you had this dream. And how many people at 21 say, here's my dream, and then go out and make it happen?
I don't know. I mean, I think often we do, right? But I think, here's the truth. I think a lot of us do. But what happens is, especially like my generation, we're supposed to get married. We're supposed to have kids. We're supposed to have a career. And we do that. And then we get all washed up in everyday life. And then all of a sudden, whatever we wanted when we were 21 or 19 kind of takes a back burner. Mm-hmm. Unless you are blessed to have a husband like I do, who's like, let's do it. I mean, you say you want to do that, let's do it. Very few of us ever really just act on it, you know. And honestly, if it were just up to me, I don't know that I would have done it myself.
So why Fort Lupton?
Well, why Fort Lupton? I moved here, 16 years ago? Eric was divorced. I was divorced. He paid off his house. I sold mine.
Oh.
And so he's like, come move up here to Fort Lupton. It was pretty reluctant, honestly. Like, I'm a city girl. I never met a cow before. So I was like, where am I? People drive slow, and it just wasn't my jam. But I moved up here, and I realized the most amazing people on the planet live here and own businesses here. And our kids were young, and everyone kept saying, restaurants kind of swallow your life, so be careful. And I had no idea. Like, they can warn you, but there's no one
Until you live it.
Yes.
No one
And so we knew that, we wanted our kids to be able to walk home from school and come here and be able to do their homework, yada, yada, yada. And honestly, once I got to know the people here, I realized that there was a market for this type of business. And I was sad that such an amazing town didn't have a place where they could gather, right? Mm-hmm. There are good restaurants here, but it's pay at the counter, kind of in and out, get your tummy full. Mm-hmm. And so I felt like the people here in Fort Lupton should have that experience.
So periodically throughout this podcast, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be showing you some pictures of what Wholly Stromboli looks like upstairs. And then as we move further into it, we're going to talk about this amazing jewel downstairs, which is the speakeasy. So getting back to, now you're in the restaurant business, where did your recipes come from?
Well, some came from my mom. The original stromboli, of course, the lasagna, the meatballs, and the marinara. And if I've forgotten anything, Mom, I'm sorry. And then the rest of them were just kind of things that I made for my family. You know, if you grew up on the East Coast, you'll know that you eat one of three things. You eat Chinese, deli, or Italian.
Right.
There's no Mexican food there, and if it is, you probably shouldn't go get it. And so those are the foods that I always cooked for us at home. And so some of them, like our divorce soup, which we don't have right now, I'm so sorry. So I shouldn't have brought it up, but I did. It's okay. It'll come back
on
one day.
occasion. You might
yes.
have it, right?
Yes, yes. After the pandemic thing's over. So that's a soup that I made for us, and our arrabbiata sauce. That spicy bolognese sauce with a little bit of Alfredo. That's also one of my, my recipes.
Very nice. So Dixie and I both have our favorites. I was up here about a week ago and had the chicken parmigiano, and that was amazing.
That is good.
And what did you have?
I had the most delicious salad, and I cannot remember what it was called, but it had some beautiful grilled chicken and avocado.
Oh, you had the Cobb salad.
I did. Yes,
that's right.
That's what I had, the Cobb salad. So I'm trying to prep for a fitness competition. So that's what I will say is your menu really has everything. So if you want to eat healthy, if you are watching what you eat, you can still come here and have amazing food.
Absolutely. I think I have the gift of feeding people. That's how I show love. That's how I care for people. And right after we opened the restaurant, I was like, gosh, there's this whole community of people that really don't give a crap about what they eat because they're like, ugh, it all sucks. Like gluten-free people, if you ask somebody who's gluten-free where you wanted to eat, they'd probably go, I don't give a shit. Because
it's the same.
It's all I can have a hamburger with no bun. And so that really fed my need to feed everybody. So we have an extensive gluten-free menu. You can get calzone, strombolis, chips and queso, all kind, from appetizer to dessert. I think that everybody should be able to go out and eat. So if you're eating healthy and clean, I think you should have options too and not be like, wow, you guys look like you're having fun,
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what, and I chose a salad, but I like them, and it was amazing. It wasn't that, oh man, I have to go eat salad again. Yeah. No, it was beautiful. It was filling. I was stuffed by the time we were done. I also did have a glass of wine, which was amazing.
Do you have red wine?
Yes.
Yeah, I love red wine.
Yeah,
I'm a
that's
Merlot
really good.
girl.
Are you?
Yes, and it was delicious.
So not only do you have the restaurant, and I'm still saving the speakeasy for last because this is going to be really cool.
So cool.
But I still want to talk about your cooking staff and some of the competitions you were involved with. So it's not just, she doesn't just do the Italian food thing here. You guys actually travel and enter competitions for pizza.
Well, okay, so even though Stromboli is my, what I grew up with, and I
Right.
love Stromboli, pizza has always been my passion. And I'll just go off on a little bit of a tangent. Think about your favorite restaurant, and maybe think about a steak restaurant growing up. Does it make you feel like, wow? I mean, think about it.
Oh yeah.
It's a great steak. You'd be like,
Right.
damn, that was a good steak, right? But think about your favorite pizzeria growing up. And when you walk in the door and that smell, there's that unforgettable smell, whether it's Chicago.
Olive oil and cheese.
Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And the memories you feel when you think about that place. I remember my favorite pizzeria, Scardino's Pizzeria, and he's a big Italian guy, and thick accent. And we'd walk in, he'd be like, hey, Margot, talk to my mom. And he'd wink at me. And it was so magical. He'd slap out this dough, 1, 2, 3, up in the air. And then it was just a pie, and the sauce and the cheese. And I would just be like, I want to do that one day. I want to do that, And I think that we can't say that about a lot of foods. Some people like tacos or whatever,
Right.
but pizza is one of the few foods that we really share. And it has such a strong emotion. People are okay, I only like Chicago, or I only like New York style, or did you hear that New Jersey is officially the best pizza in America?
Is it really?
I had no
Yes.
idea. No.
Wow.
Yes, I'm a Jersey girl.
I lived in South
No way.
Amboy for a couple of years, so I enjoyed the pizza there.
It's good stuff.
great.
So back on point, because I'm really good at getting off point, because I love pizza so much, I knew that I wanted to be a part of the pizza community one day. And so I'm a member of the World Pizza Champions team, along with a lot of amazing people. And we get to travel the country and the world competing
Wow.
in pizza competitions. So a lot of my friends have won world champion status awards. I won best non-traditional pizza in Mid-America. And then we
Okay.
also took third best gluten-free in the world.
What
So-
did you make that you won?
It was a pineapple pizza.
That's what I thought.
George Gray.
I figured that
Watch him-
pineapple pizza is Melissa's favorite. In case
I thought
anybody
we
didn't
had
know
a
that.
thing,
no,
Dixie.
we're
Oh
being
my God.
we're kidding. We're giving you
You're
just the one
ribbing me.
thing.
Oh no, I am with
The
you.
one ingredient.
Pineapple does not belong on pizza.
Thank you.
I'm not a pineapple.
It's
I
so
love
gross.
pineapple. It just
And it's not on pizza. Yeah, totally. Like in a fruit salad, don't knock yourself out. But like not on my pizza. Like whatever. But no. It was called the Baltic Circle. So it was like really like a party in your mouth. It's got like 18 ingredients and they're all sauteed.
Wow.
Cream cheese, garlic sauce, and it's just really a fun pie to make. And I was so excited because it was my first time competing, and Eric's like, it's really hard, but like it's a tough competition, love. Like, I want you to think about it before you do it. And I'm like, yeah, it'll be fine. Like even if I don't win. And so we're sitting there, and my mentor is Tony Gemignani. If you ever have a chance, look him up. He has taken pizza to the next level, and he's the one who founded our team.
Is it the whole pie, or is it the crust? Is it everything?
It's everything.
Really?
It's a craft, yeah. And so I saw him on the Food Network at the International Pizza Expo, and I was like, there's a pizza expo? Like, are you kidding me? And I saw him, and I was like, I want to meet that guy one day. So I got to meet him in my first year competing, and I'm sitting there waiting for the results, and they called my name, and I was like, shut the F up. Like, I jumped up, and I was like, oh my God. And Tony was right there, and he was like, hey, I'm so proud of you. And
that's awesome.
What's cool about the pizza community is if you want to be in the industry, there's so many people who are willing to share their secrets, and I don't see that a lot across other brands.
Right.
Yeah, I think for me, whenever we talk about Italian food, and there's a lot of restaurants, a lot of Italian restaurants that do a wonderful job, and quite a few of them as well. But for me, and I think I was kind of spoiled because I was back east and lived back there, so I had like the real authentic, the mama's kitchen and that kind of thing. For me, it's always come down to the crust. Yeah. And it seems like so many Italian restaurants, they miss out on the crust thing. Is there a secret? Do you haul in water from Jersey for your crust?
That's funny because I told Eric, like, we're going to do Stromboli's. He's like, I think we should do New York pizza too. Because I took him to New York. He's from Kansas, so he doesn't know from pizza.
He doesn't know.
No. And he's like, what's the big deal? And I take him, and he's like, oh, we have to do pizza. And I'm like, no, we can't. It's in the water. Like, we can't make New York style pizza in Colorado because it's in the water. It's just, and I want it to be perfect. And he's like, what? Are you kidding me? So he loves science, so he starts doing all this research. And he's like, it's not in the water. Like,
really?
It's science,
Okay.
yeah. And so the key to great crust is patience.
Wow.
So a lot of guys,
a lot of that.
No. Well, but a lot of guys want to whoop up a batch of dough. No offense if you're doing this, good for you, but whip up a batch of dough and use it 3 hours later. Mm-hmm. And pizza dough, just like bread, anything, any yeast product is alive, right? Yeah. And so you have to allow that dough time to mature, allow that, the yeast, it eats, and then it expels gas, and that's what makes your dough puff up. So the longer you let that happen, the more flavor, the more texture, the more crispiness you'll have in your dough, like character. Mm-hmm. And so in order to do that, you have to cold proof it. So we cold proof it for 72 hours before you touch it. Yeah.
So the pizza that somebody's eating today, that dough was prepped 3 days before?
It was.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, that explains
that is a lot of patience.
Do you do the same for your Stromboli? All your breads, are they really?
Yeah. So Stromboli and pizza are the same dough. Garlic knots, they rest another day. They proof another day. So after we've made Stromboli and we're done with it, then the next day that's why the garlic knots are so fluffy, and they get that nice, real crisp texture.
And they're delicious. I'm not eating those right now, but they are delicious. As soon as my competition's over.
And I don't know how much you want to talk about, but you yourself have gone through an amazing journey as well. And so working in a restaurant, how do you keep yourself from overindulging?
Can we get real?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I have had a journey, right? I was 313 pounds, and that was the hardest time of my life. Unfortunately, we do live in a society where people don't see us from the inside first. Right. It's human nature.
Sure.
We see things from the outside first. You don't look at a crappy car and go, oh, I want that car. You think, oh, wow, it's probably run down, right? Unfortunately, that's how we see each other. And we're like, oh, wow, that lady's really overweight. Like, she must not have any self-discipline, or she must be lazy, or whatever the deal is. People do that. And as much as other people do that to each other, we do it to ourselves.
Way worse.
Way worse.
Way worse, yeah.
And so I always knew, like, I could be this better person, is what I thought, right? Not that I was a bad person for being overweight, but let's just talk about the physical ramifications. I could hardly walk up and down the speakeasy stairs, and my knees hurt, and I was unhappy, and anytime I had to go out in public to get dressed was ridiculous. Like, my soul hurt, and it ate away at me. Yeah. And to the point where I didn't want to come out of my office and talk to my guests, which is like what I love, right? Mm-hmm. And I made the decision. It's been 6 years ago now.
Wow.
6 years ago, I did make the decision to have weight loss surgery. And if anybody thinks that's a free ticket to lose 165 pounds, it's not.
Still a lot of hard work.
It's still a lot of hard work. I'm going through the journey right now, where I have to be conscious all the time of what I eat and make sure that I'm working out and taking care of my body. Mm-hmm. But no matter what, I have to tell you, like, self-care is so important. I hear so many moms, and I'm guilty of it, say, I don't have the time to work out. Would you have the time to be dead?
Right.
How would your family feel if you weren't around or if you had a stroke? Because that was my reality. Mm-hmm. Like, my A1C was high, my cholesterol was high, my lungs were stressed, or and so if you think that you're being selfish by taking an hour a day for yourself, just think about what your family would do without you.
Well, and not only that, but what example are you setting for your kids, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Because if you want them to live a healthy lifestyle, you have to kind of walk the walk with them.
Mm-hmm. It's true, and I'm going to be a little touchy here. Since we're uncensored, I'm just going to say it, and if you hate me, you hate me. But just know that I come from a place of knowing and a place of love.
Right.
As an overweight person, it really sucked that there weren't styles at that time that fit me. So I had to dress like a schlub. Like, I didn't get to wear the cute clothes that they have now for overweight people. I don't wish for overweight people to feel judged. And I'm glad that there are plus-size mannequins and all these things. Like, Victoria's Secret has really made it a point to make stuff for plus-size models and people, normal people. And that's great. I just don't think we should glorify it. Because it's not great, because I was sad in my soul and my poor body. Like, unfortunately, I'm very fit now. I'm not as fit as you. Not as fit as you. But
it's work. It's work. And that's what people don't realize. It's work every day. Whether you're fit or you're on the journey to become fit, like, it's not just something that happens. Right?
No.
It's definitely a
And the lasting effect is that both of my knees are, how do they handle that kind of weight? I think about it. I can't today, and I work out, and I'm strong. I cannot hump a 50-pound bag of flour up the stairs. But, I did that every single day. Times 3.
That's crazy.
Because I lost 165 pounds. I could never stack 3 bags of flour on my back and walk up the stairs. So how does your body manage that, And I think that's what I want people to feel. Because I think, unfortunately, there's this reverse of thin shaming or healthy shaming.
Yeah,
we're offending you somehow by not being overweight or not being overweight anymore, and that's not it. I really wish we could get to a place in society that we're like, you're you, I'm me, let's live our own best lives, do whatever you want, and be cool.
Well, our friend Tammy Garcia, she has a podcast, and she really talks about health and overall wellness, and she always says something that kind of resonates with me about, let's take our emotion away from our weight. And I think that that's really hard to do and almost impossible. But when you look at it, we need to be healthy, because, whether it's COVID, whether it's the flu, whether it's anything else, it's going to affect you so much more if you're not healthy. And so it's eating right, making sure you're getting all the right vitamins and minerals in your diet, and, exercising, keeping your heart healthy. So taking weight away from it. And I know for me, what really helped me after I had my second daughter was stop thinking about getting skinny and start thinking about becoming stronger.
Yeah.
And that's when I finally lost weight that I had been carrying after my 2 girls were born, because I've been an athlete my whole life. But it was just that shift in my mind about stop getting on the scale and just focus on getting healthier and stronger. And if you do that...
But it's so hard, right?
It's hard.
So my journey, I lost the weight, and I really didn't I stuck to my diet. I continued to work out every day. And then menopause came. And I know that we're like so ashamed to talk about it, but I can't imagine why.
And for her, that it came, you were only 24 years old. And that was only 2 years ago. Isn't that crazy?
Yes, crazy, right?
Did you get the COVID vaccine? Is that what happened to you?
Yes, that's what happened.
Totally
no, I did not. Sorry. But don't even get me started on that. But I started to go through menopause, and like my little cheats, like my maybe too much whiskey each week, or a few glasses of red wine, all of a sudden Dixie was like overnight. Like I was like, I feel pretty good, and it was like, bam! Oh my God!
All that stuff that used to work for you, no more.
That's right, and it's a complete game changer. And I have to say, it hurt me to my core. Like it took really Eric to be like, hey, stop. Like you're gonna fix it. You're committed. You're doing all the right things. He says this is a steamer ship. You're not going to turn the ship in a week.
Right.
And I'm like, I know, but 2 weeks ago that worked. Like I had a few too many glasses of whiskey and I behaved myself a week and I was fine. But you are right about the emotional component, because it might as well have been 165 pounds. It was only 15, but I couldn't disassociate what I thought I was seeing and what was reality, and I think, as much as I say, like, we shouldn't shame each other for no matter what we are, there's so much of a, like, you're supposed to look like this.
Right.
And if I told you that I could separate the two, I'd be lying.
Right.
So,
I think most people can't. I think that might be a goal in trying to talk to ourselves about this is not who I am, is not what I look like.
But it was career changing for me. I will tell you, I've wanted to be on the pizza team for 15, 16, 17 years. Is that the pizza team's fault? No, it's not, because I changed. When I gained that confidence, I came out of my shell. So yes, maybe people saw me differently, but it's also on me too.
And there's a really cool story there. So I'm performing at this little dinner theater place, and I knew Melissa. I'm trying to think how long we've known each other. Or how we even got hooked up to knowing each other. It's probably through radio, I'm assuming.
Kahuna came down here to eat, and that was like, we've been open for 11 years, so that was 10 years ago.
Okay, so I'm doing my performing thing, and I remember Melissa when you were heavy, although I don't remember, which is interesting. And the reason I bring that up is because, so I'm performing at this place, right? And then I look over at this table, and there's this good-looking blonde, and she's smiling, she's having a good time. And so I call her up on stage, and I'm singing a song to her. And as I'm singing to her, I keep thinking, she looks so familiar. So familiar. And then it was, I think, afterwards, she goes, you don't know who I am, do you? And so, by golly, it was Melissa. But I can tell you that the same Melissa that you see now, and everything's there, was the same one when you were heavy. But unfortunately, a lot of that was being held back because of you were really self-conscious about how you felt.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you think people are judging you. Some are, some aren't. But, yeah, you don't feel like you're being your authentic self. The funny story is, like, after I sat down, like, after I got off a stage, Eric goes, he didn't know that was you, did he? I go, no, you had no idea. No idea.
And she's always been really, really beautiful. But sometimes people by not only the face, but everything that they do. So now you've lost the weight. Your whole attitude's changed. How did that roll over to what changes you did, if any, at Wholly Stromboli? Was there a whole new vibe now that we had a new Melissa, so to speak?
Well, yeah. I mean, I have more energy, right?
Yeah.
And I felt more confident, and I felt like I was able to get out there and interact with people. And I think, especially in this day and age, people want to be able to associate where they're spending their money.
Sure.
Right? They want to know who they're spending their money with. And being able to represent my brand in a way that was truly authentic. I keep saying that word, but it's so true. Like, to be hospitable and friendly.
Sure.
And this is my home. Come into my home. And I suddenly felt free to do that. And then also, it's so important to me, like, what I didn't realize. I always said I wanted to change the world. Like, I wanted to not change it, but make a difference. So I worked in the ER. That I did not make a difference in anyone's world. No, they were like, no. I did a lot of different things, but I always knew this was what I was supposed to do. I didn't think I could make a difference in the world. I just thought I was going to feed people. And what I realized all of a sudden is I do make a difference in the world, whether it's, the young ladies that I can mentor or our community that we as a team can give back to. But also one of the things I love to do is share what I've learned along my journey. Other pizzeria operators and other restaurants, like what steps can I save you? Or like things when I did, and I'm like, oh, that was so dumb. I'll never do that again. If I can share that and spare somebody else that pain, I'd love to. So I am really blessed to be able to represent my brand in video. I do videos. I do seminars and I do articles for Pizza Today magazine, and that's so fulfilling.
Yeah. That's so cool.
I love sharing. I think if we can all share what we learn, we're just together. We're stronger, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So how old is the building?
This building is 110 years old.
Wow.
Yeah.
110 years old. And you had this basement.
Yeah.
What was in the basement?
Junk. Okay, like no offense to my employees, but employees sometimes are like kids. So if you tell your kids, go put this away, what do?
They just go throw it in a corner somewhere.
Yeah. And this was rubble. So the guy who owned the building before me, this was a schwanky apartment for the folks who owned the whole building. They had a home improvement company, like 50s, 60s, 70s. And so I tricked out kitchen and everything. And he was going to demo it and put some office space down here. And then we came along. And he's like, meh, I don't think I will. So it was half demolished, half storage. And then I'd say, hey, can you go put this over here? And then just wind up down here. So one day I walked down here and I said to Eric, we really need a large space for large parties. And he goes, yeah, okay. And I said, and I think we should make it speakeasy themed because of the era of the building, because we've found whiskey bottles during the Prohibition era.
Oh, wow.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, so I said, how about we make it a speakeasy? And he goes, yeah, sure, that's a good idea. So the next day he came home from work and he comes down here and he goes, whose roll-off is that? And I go, it's ours. And he goes, what do you mean? And I said, you said I could build a speakeasy. And he goes, I didn't think you meant today. And I said, well, today's as
why
good
not,
a day as any, right?
Sure.
And so that's how the speakeasy was born. Yeah.
Well, it's a wonderful place. And so now the decorations, and of course we're going to be showing pictures while we talk about this. The decor is amazing. You have a nice little stage. You've had bands down here, really setting the mood. Is it open all the time, or is it only on certain nights?
It's only on certain nights. So, it used to only be for private parties.
Right.
But COVID was the catalyst. When the governor so graciously gave us 25% capacity to pay 100% of our bills, we were like, we're effed. How are we going to keep this going? Right. We couldn't survive on takeout alone. But it's not very big upstairs. So I have 4 tables to make do and pay my bills.
Yep.
And so we decided we're going to open this up for overflow dining on Fridays and Saturdays. So the cool thing about this space is it is adult dining only. So there's no kids down here. It's a completely different vibe.
Yeah,
right.
It definitely is.
It's really cool. And then some of the pictures you're seeing, I don't know, you probably can't see here, but the bathtub behind us is pretty cool. We'll show that here in just a little bit.
Well, yeah, and I think part of the reason is you don't have the front door traffic, and you don't have the kitchen noise, and and there's only maybe 1 or 2 servers down here, so it's a very just kind of quiet and a different pace. Just enjoy yourself.
It's very intimate. It really is.
Oh,
it's very, very intimate. You come down here and eat, and it's a romantic. Intimate.
Yeah, the lighting is really cool, and just the old piano and the different pictures that you have up, and the different spaces have different feels. Like you have the fireplace, and it's just really cozy over there. And
Yep, very nice.
Thank you.
Well, you do a great job with it. Any new things coming to the menu? I know we kind of went through. I mean, you have so much, and we'll put a link to their website so you can check them out. And of course, if you're in the area, I recommend stopping by Wholly Stromboli.
And it's worth the drive.
Yeah.
From
it's really not that far
yeah.
from Denver. Was about 40 miles.
No, yeah, like 30. Yeah, it's like a 25-minute drive. It's not bad. I mean, I think, and sometimes people get confused when we say Fort Lupton, they think Fort Morgan.
Yes.
We're just 10 minutes north of Brighton, so
just right off of 85.
Yeah.
And 410 Denver Avenue, right?
410 Denver Avenue, yes. In the historic St. John building, which will be getting a facelift here very quickly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're actually adding a new patio to have a cover and heat and fans and
That'll be amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be really cool.
A lot of people are searching for podcasts, and that's why I wanted to bring just a little bit of your personal life into is there's a lot of people out there that want to hear your story.
I feel like there's so much candy-coated crap out there, or like one perspective, or like we want this utopia, right? And where everything and everyone is perfect, and it's not the truth, right? And I think there's a whole other side of things that's unspoken, our unspoken truth. Like I talked about menopause. I don't understand, like there's something, I'm not going to talk to you about some certain things. That's right. There's no place for that. But let's just face it, if I walk up to your table and I'm sweating like a wildebeest, obviously there's something wrong, and I don't think there's any problem going, sorry, you know what I mean?
Having my personal summer. I had an aunt that would call it a personal summer, and I loved it.
That's completely accurate. Like, I'm incinerating from the inside. I'm embarrassed. But, okay, why can't we talk about that? Why can't we talk about losing weight and being healthy? Why can't, if you've got it, why can't you rock it? Why can you not go to certain gyms and wear a crop top? I mean, come on. Why? And so I really want to come from a place of being our authentic selves and really talking about what we're thinking about and how we're feeling. Because I think sometimes, especially as women, I don't know that men do it as much. I look at you and I think, oh my God, she's perfect. She has no cares in the world. She has no worries. She got the perfect body, perfect hair, perfect clothes.
Perfect.
But we think about that, and in reality, that's not reality,
it's
right?
Not.
It's just not.
Like, people might think, oh my God, she owns a restaurant and maybe she has a nice car, but they don't know that I drove a 97 Honda Accord up until, I don't know, like 5 years ago, and then I had to call my bookkeeper for a ride when it snowed because it wouldn't start. Like, they don't know that there's a downside to everybody's life. And I think if we can just share about it, and not in a way that we're like complaining, but we just like be an open book and know that I'm not the only person having my own personal summer.
And how boring would this perfect life be? Like if everybody was just perfect and everything was great and everything as perfect as you see it on social media.
Mm-hmm. Fake book?
Yes, and the Instagram and all these things. Like, I try to make it a point to show, even when I'm doing my fitness stuff, like, I fall down, and it can be funny, and that's how you learn and grow. We're not perfect, and that would be super boring, and that life's blunders are sometimes where we have the most fun.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Yeah. I don't edit a lot of my videos for that reason. Like, Eric, one day I was doing a video on Facebook, and I got off camera, and he had a sheet of paper, and he had tick marks for every time I said, and
Oh, we get caught in that, too.
And, and I'm like, I'm real, I don't care. He's like, well, you got to work on that. I'm like, I'm not.
This is just
how I talk.
It's fine.
Well, our first couple of podcasts, my go-to phrase was, having said all that, so it's like, oh my God, you start watching this, like, I got to stop saying all that, so.
I just say that when I'm on the phone with him now, so having said all that.
So.
My mom used to say when she was here, at the end of the day, and so it was like, at the end of the day, because my mom would say that, but I mean, I think that we could all just lighten the F up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right,
Sorry I said that, but it's true.
No.
We need to lighten up and be real, and we all have flaws. Like
every single one of us. Yep.
One thing I can tell you that Melissa will be doing is Dixie and Melissa she's going to join our podcast again, and you guys are going to work on some healthy dishes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because I am not a cook. I mean, I've gotten better, I will say.
She does good. You do good.
But I probably don't cut things the right way, they get cut.
Do they fit in your mouth?
It all fits in your mouth, so I guess that's good.
It's not pretty. I cook because I have to, not because I love it. Because at the end of the day, after I get off of work and I run the kids everywhere they need to go, and I've been up since 4:30 or maybe all night because my kids still don't sleep, cooking is not what I want to do, but I'm hungry. So that's really where I end up at. And then I get tired of making the same thing over and over and over and over.
Oh, I know that. So I'm really getting back because my husband is like the plumber's wife. Poor guy, right? I'm in a restaurant. I'm a great cook, but poor guy, like I hardly ever cook for him, And And so I have really been working on that myself. And I'm not a crock potter. I don't love crock pots. No offense. But I will tell you, like, if you can get a vacuum sealer, that is your best friend. I love my vacuum sealer because I can do meal prep, so I can prep for,
that's nice.
And then vacuum seal it. And yeah, it's great. So I'm excited for us to cook together.
I'm really excited too, because I'm excited to learn new things and cook something I've never done before, which is most things.
And then the fun thing, like, I did a Facebook video the other day with my buddy, David Bondarchuk, who's I just love him. And I did a remix with his pulled pork, so I do to reutilize things too.
Oh,
so
that's really good.
Yeah, that's
good.
handy.
That is good.
Yeah.
Well, Wholly Stromboli, located in Fort Lupton, Colorado, 410 Denver Avenue, and your website is?
whollystromboli.com or www.boli.ws.
And you're also on Facebook?
We're on Facebook.
Facebook?
And Instagram-ish.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure it out, but
there's
I'm
so
not
many.
as good with Instagram either, but I do know how to, if you put it on one, how to get it to the other one automatically. So I can help you with that.
Okay, well, you're ahead of
And
me.
if somebody wanted to call you just to ask you some things, because I know that we talked about a lot of things, personal and restaurant type stuff, that if some woman or some man is struggling with a little bit, do you have a phone number here that they can call?
Probably not call the restaurant,
Okay.
just because I'm really
You're taking orders?
Yes, no.
Yeah.
If I am here, I'm probably cooking.
Okay.
Otherwise, I'm working on growing the business. So if you want to reach out to me, honestly, the best way is to find me on Facebook,
Okay.
Melissa Greenblatt Rickman. That's my personal. So please feel free to message me there, or you can email me at melissa@wholly-stromboli.com.
Very good.
Very good.
Well, our time is up. And I'm not too sad, because that means that you and I get to eat.
We get to eat.
Yeah, we're going to eat something. I don't know what I'm going to have. The last time I had the chicken parmigiana.
Oh, that's my favorite.
I might go back to that one again. But the Strombolis are all... And you have one with jalapenos in it, too, as well. If somebody likes something with a little bite to it.
Oh, yeah. And the arrabbiata sauce is spicy. Also, if, like, you're low carb, we have pizza skillets. And, I eat ball a day. That's how I keep the doctor away.
And I think one thing that Melissa's been after me, she's been after my recipe of chicken crust pizza. So actually, that is one that we do.
Love it.
Is it good?
It is so
it's pretty good. Yeah.
Even the kids like it. And
Really?
They're super picky. Yeah.
But the recipe off the internet it can use some tweaking. I bet you could make an amazing one. But anyway, I've been teasing her about the chicken crust pizza for quite some time. Anyway, so that's our show. We hope that you enjoyed us, and once again, you can get more information about us where?
On our website, DixieandtheKing.com, Instagram, Dixie and the King, Facebook, Dixie and the King. And we are on Rumble and all your favorite podcast platforms. Again, please feel free to listen to us in the car while you're cleaning your house, running your children to all the places, or your grandchildren, flossing your teeth. Yeah.
Flossing your teeth,
really whatever. You just need something different and positive to listen to instead of all of the crap that you hear day in and day out. Yeah.
And once again, this is all being brought to you by castcontentmedia.com. So until next time, God bless.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Dixie and the King. We know there are possibly millions of podcasts out there, and we really appreciate you landing on ours.
We'd love to hear back from you with suggestions, episode ideas, and possible guests. If you'd like to connect to our guests, we would love to share their contact info with you.
Feel free to tell a friend and share our podcast with them.
To learn more and watch past podcasts, please visit our website, DixieandtheKing.com.